Hi, I'm Brad Dempsey, CEO of the Solutions 360. I'm very happy to be here with Brad Malone, partner with Navigate Management Consulting. Today I'd like to ask you about metrics and accountability. What kind of KPIs do we have to look at, and how do we use those KPIs to manage accountability?
Well, I think first you have to, what's the performance we're after? Okay. And how do we then measure that? So if we look at projects, the two worst measures are you on time and on budget? Because then people fabricate to be there versus where are you at in terms of progress, and we're rewarding you for telling the truth early. But each person in the organization should have a metric to drive to. I mean, for laborers, how many wires did you do this hour without a defect? So we're not just measuring the amount of hours, we're measuring the defect-free. So you're always trying to push for quality and the goal of the measure, not a number like a quota. But I think every person in the organization should have 2 or 3 metrics that ultimately ought to be on a dashboard, and that's their scoreboard. I mean, people wouldn't play sports if there were no score.
That's an important point. You said 2 or 3 metrics. I mean, have you seen cases where people just try to track too many metrics and get overwhelmed?
And then they get overwhelmed, and then they don't know. It's ADD.
Right.
And oftentimes, the more metrics you have by people, sometimes those metrics are in conflict.
Right.
And so several examples turn into, we're going to reward the project manager for profit, but we want them to tell the truth on hours. And so they're salaried, so they're like, well, I'm not going to put actual hours down because if I do, it's a detriment to the project, and yet I won't get my profit sharing, but now we underestimated the project. Right. So you want to ensure that it's about the truth and the gap of profit. Right. So there's measures, it's always key to understand the measure has to drive the behavior and not a measure giving you behavior that's not appropriate, not what you're after.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.